An app in Android is different than an app that you might install on your Windows PC or Mac. An Android app is really just a bundle of components that are distributed together. With a traditional application you might run on your computer, that application usually is pretty self-contained. It usually isn't going to be dependent on other functionality supplied by other applications or share its functionality with other applications. In Android, apps are much different. In Android, an application may very well use some other app's functionality and add functionality to an Android device that other apps can use. Apps in Android are really just a collection of loosely coupled functionality packaged together to do one thing. For example, in Android, I might install an application that has the ability to scan barcodes. Some other application completely unrelated to my barcode scanning app could utilize that barcode scanning functionality. We'll talk a bit more about how this works later on. Unfortunately, most Android applications out there don't take advantage of this awesome way apps are designed in Android because still many developers aren't really aware of what makes Android apps so different. Finally, it's important to note that there are actually many different kinds of Android apps, and we'll be discussing the basic types you might find a little later in this module. An Android app is packaged as a .apk file. An APK file is the file that holds all the other things that make up an app. You can see from this diagram that there are many different things that make up an Android application. This is of course a simplified diagram, but an Android application usually consists of a manifest file, which defines what the app can do and what makes it up, some intents that the app can respond to. This is basically what your app knows how to do. Activities, which are usually individual screens in the app, services, which is functionality that can be run in the background without a user interface, and resources like images and video. We'll break down each of these parts into much more detail a little later in this module.